PlayStation is celebrating this summer with the PlayStation Summer Sale, which is coming to an end on August 17th. There are many games on sale, and some of the best and most popular PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 games are on sale. Now, we could talk a long time about all of these games that are on sale, but I'm going to focus on all the games that are about $25 or less. Games can be very expensive, and all of these games are currently more affordable, and you will not regret getting any of these games. If you have not already, please like this video and comment below which your favorite game is that's currently on sale. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel as well, because we do video game content every single Friday. So before we jump into all the games that are about $25 or less that's currently on sale, I'm going to mention just a few games real quick that are on sale that are about $25 or more on the current PlayStation Summer Sale. These are some games that have just come out, and some of them are very popular, and having them at a lower price is amazing. The first game we have is Demon's Souls for PS5 that is currently $39.89. We have Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales for PS5 and PS4 for $29.99. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands for PS4 for $44.99. And finally, Horizon Forbidden West for the PS4 at $39.59. And for the PS5 for $49.69. The first three games we're going to talk about range from $20 to $25. Our first game is the prequel to the Sherlock Holmes game series, Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1. Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1 is the origin story of Sherlock Holmes. He is much younger in this game and is at the start of his career as he's a consulting detective. After the death of his mother, he looks into investigating the mysteries of the island his family's home was built on. Chapter 1 is the first open world game in the series. Chapter 1 looks to be the start of a reboot series for Sherlock Holmes. Unlike the previous series, this game will focus less on the linear paths of investigation and instead focus on your interactions with more characters within the world and less hand-holding to figure out the mystery. If you love mystery games, then this game is definitely for you. It's currently 45% off, which would normally cost you about $45, and you can get it right now for $24.74. The good thing about this game is you're not required to play any of the other Sherlock Holmes games to play this game. So if you didn't play Crimes and Punishment, or if you didn't play Devil's Daughter, you can jump straight into Chapter 1 with no prior experience to the main series of games. If you haven't picked up the latest entry in the Assassin's Creed series, then you're in luck, because Assassin's Creed Valhalla is 60% off right now and will only cost you $23.99. Valhalla takes on the same concepts as the past few games released that makes Valhalla more of an open world experience with less linear storylines. The game is set in a Viking era and allows you to explore medieval England and Norway. The game has great gameplay and features several unique characters and introduces us to the world of Norse mythology in this version of Assassin's Creed. If you've played all the Assassin's Creed games, you definitely want to jump on board and get this game while it is cheaper than what it currently was. If you're new to it and you've never played any of the games Assassin's Creed series, this is a great starting point, because no Assassin's Creed game really requires you to play prior games. Yes, it can enhance the gameplay experience and the overall fun of it, but you don't have to. It's a great game though if you like Vikings, if you like that Norse mythology stuff. It is so enriched with that mythology within the game, and it's just so fun. Two of the best Resident Evil games in the series, Resident Evil 2 and 3, are available right now on sale in a bundle collected in the Raccoon City edition. It's at the beautiful discounted price of $23.99. Resident Evil 2 Remake was a remake of the 1998 version of the game for PlayStation 1. Resident Evil 2 Remake got rid of the tank controls and fixed camera angles and went with a more over-the-shoulder third-person shooter gameplay that is very reminiscent of Resident Evil 4. In Resident Evil 2, you can play the game as Leon or Chris as you try to survive the zombie outbreak in Raccoon City. Leon and Claire's stories are different in many ways, and you have an A and B campaign mode that gives you at least 4 unique versions of the story mode that you can play. Then in Resident Evil 3, it sets you up at the same time frame as the second game, but you are in a different part of Raccoon City playing as Jill Valentine. The game is most famous for the introduction of the main villain, Nemesis, one of the most iconic bosses of the Resident Evil series. Both games got rid of the tank controls and fixed camera angles and introduced better graphics and slight changes to the story. Both games are available in this bundle pack, and you will definitely want to get your hands on these games before the remake of Resident Evil 4 releases next year. For our next list of games on sale, these games range between $10 and $19.99, so a little under 20 bucks to about $10. The first game in this section of games is, of course, The Last of Us Part 2 for the PS4, which is only going to cost you about $19.99. The Last of Us Part 2 is the most anticipated sequel to one of the best PlayStation exclusive games we've ever had. The Last of Us Part 2 is a third-person survival horror game set in the post-apocalyptic world. You get to play as Ellie and Abby, and a brief time of the game you get to play as Joel, the main character from the first game. The main game's mechanics have you using weapons and stealth to manage your way through the game's levels. Whether it is through hostile humans or cannibalistic creatures infected by a fungus, you have to strategize a way to survive. Last of Us Part 2 made several improvements on many of the gameplay elements, and the graphics are some of the best we have had in any game for the PlayStation 4. In my opinion, you have to get this game right now while it's only $20. The game has many scary moments, zombie fun, masterful gameplay, and is a story you will never forget. In my opinion, one of the best new game series introduced in the last 10 years is Watch Dogs. We've had 3 games in the series so far, and today, if you've never played the series, you can get Watch Dogs 1 and 2 in a bundle pack for only $14.99. Ubisoft introduced us to this series in 2014 and gave us a unique open world where players can drive vehicles, use a variety of firearms, have several elements of stealth gameplay, solving puzzles, and the main gameplay element of hacking. Watch Dogs 1 focuses on the vigilante hacker Aiden Pierce, who is on a quest for revenge for the death of his niece. Watch Dogs was originally going to be a driver sequel, but due to the failure of the last game in the series, they changed things over to this game, where they took the same driving elements that they were working on and added in hacking abilities and an overall story. In Watch Dogs 2, they switched things up and had you playing as hacker Marcus Holloway, who was punished for the crimes he did not commit. He joins the hacker group DedSec to spread awareness to the dangers that the CTOS 2.0 has on the world. Some of the similar villains and world stories are similar in both games, and Aiden Pierce does return for a side quest within this game that is entirely missable. Many improvements are made for the hacking abilities, and it felt like a true successor to the original game. For less than $20, you are getting 2 great games that are worth playing and will provide you with hours of gameplay and fun. And these last 5 games will only cost you $9.99 or less. And I think only one of the games we're going to talk about is actually $9.99, and the rest of them are way lower than that. So these are probably, if I was in y'all's position, if you're going to take anything out of this list, definitely get something from this last list of games, because these games are at the lowest they've ever been, and they're worth every penny. Up first, we have 2014's Game of the Year, Witcher 3, with the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition. This game is only going to cost you $9.99, which is 80% off of the original pricing on the PlayStation Store. This is the 3rd game in the series and was critically acclaimed as one of the best RPG games of all times. Witcher 3 is an action role-playing game that has you play as Geralt of Rivia, a witcher who hunts and slays monsters. The game features many main quests and side quests that will take you across a multitude of locations. The game allows you to travel by foot or by horse, and you can choose to use swords or magic to fight enemies. You can play this game entirely linear and follow the story path completely, or you can do all of the side quests. Your choices also impact the ending of the game, and you have so many different choices of who you want to be in a romantic relationship with as well. You can stop at every village along the way and do everything the game has to offer, or you can just go straight through the linear story and you'll get the same amazing experience. Though I highly recommend that you play through several of the side stuff in the game, because some of the side stuff was honestly the most fun I had in this game. There's also another game within the game that you can play called Gwent, a trading card game that has since got its own standalone game, but made its first appearance in Witcher 3. The Complete Edition includes the main game as well as all of the DLC, which features Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine, which are 2 large expansions that feel like they really add to the overall game and give you the perfect ending to the series. Both DLCs combined are almost as long as the second Witcher game alone. And for just $10, you're getting so much gameplay that will literally give you hundreds of hours worth of gameplay to play. And that is pretty much all I have to say about why you should be getting this game. $10 for hundreds of hours. In recent years, Hazelight Studio and EA have released the coolest split-screen co-op games that we've ever seen. The first game that they released was A Way Out. This game cannot be played by yourself, so you'll need a friend to play this game. But only one of you actually needs to purchase this game because there is a free app that you can download on PlayStation to join and play someone who owns the actual game. This game A Way Out would normally cost you $29.99, but with the summer sale, it is listed for only $7.49. A Way Out is an action-adventure game where you and a friend will have to work together as Leo and Vincent to try and escape prison and take down a criminal who has wronged both of you. The game is unique in the fact that you both can always see each other's screens and you can do things completely separate from each other. The majority of the game, though, you and your friend will have to work together to make progress. An example of this is when you have to break out of prison by using a screwdriver to open a vent within your prison cell. You cannot do this by yourself because you will need your partner to be keeping an eye out for the prison guards that keep walking back and forth. And he'll be able to warn you when they are coming. A Way Out is a unique game that includes mini games like arcades, arm wrestling, baseball, basketball, Connect 4, darts, horseshoes, etc. Even if you're just playing through the straight storyline, you'll find so much enjoyment, but you can find so many little side things to do with your friend that just makes the game feel so wholesome. The interactions with all the different characters are also fun, and the ending of this game is probably one of the best. Co-op games are some of my favorite, and Hazelight Studios knows exactly what they're doing, and A Way Out is one of the most unique games I've played on the PlayStation 4. I've played this game multiple times, and if you have not played it yet, you need to get on that right now while it's still cheap, because $7.49 is well worth picking this game up for. Then the cheapest game on this list is only $1.99 right now on sale, and that game is Murdered Soul Suspect. Murdered Soul Suspect is a third-person view game where you play as Detective Ronan O'Connor, who is murdered by the serial killer, the Bell Killer. You return as a ghost, and you are informed by your long-dead wife that you have to solve who the killer is before you can return to her. Within the game, you can collect different collectibles, solve clues in a way similar to LA Noire, and you can use ghostly abilities like teleportation and possession to help gather clues. This game is set in a fictional version of Salem and gives for a unique setting and atmosphere that is so fun to play in. The game is short, and it has been reported that the game has some repetitive qualities to it, and that some of the other mystery games that are out there are better than this game, but for only $2, this game is definitely worth the price. Rarely are games this cheap, and you will find a unique story, interesting gameplay mechanics, and will be dying to find out how the game ends. And so $2, in my opinion, is well worth spending on this game, even with its flaws. And our last two games on this list are they're separate games, but I'm going to talk about them back to back together because they're part of the same series. Now, if you ask me what my favorite deal is currently going on with the PlayStation Summer Sale, it is this one. Because you are getting 3 games. You heard me right. You're getting 3 games for only $9. Those games that I'm talking about are Batman Return to Arkham and Batman Arkham Knight. These 2 games combined cover the mainline games of Batman Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham City, and Batman Arkham Knight. Normally, Return to Arkham will cost you about $19.99, but you can get it right now for $4.99 during the current summer sale going on. If you have ever wanted to play as Batman, this is your chance right now. The Arkham series lets you live the fantasy of playing as Batman, and both games feature many members of the Rogues Gallery. Arkham Asylum has you mostly playing within the Arkham Asylum itself, while you face villains such as Joker, Killer Croc, Bane, and more. In Arkham City, you have a much larger open world to explore, and you get to travel around a good portion of Gotham City. The combat is not like any of the games that we had at its time. The combat is so fluid, there's dodging mechanics, you're using fists and kicks to make your way through it, dodging by rolling, throwing batarangs, and not just that, but you can also deal with certain situations and in certain areas in a more stealthful way by hiding in places and taking down enemies from the dark and taking your enemies down from the shadows, really making you feel like the apex predator that you are as Batman. Arkham City also introduced Catwoman, which allowed for a unique experience that we hadn't got in the games before because she plays entirely different from Batman. And then with Arkham Knight, you get to play the final game in the series, and with the sale, you can get the game for only $3.99, which means you can get all 3 games in the mainline Arkham series for less than $10. In my opinion, you can't beat that because for $10, you're getting 3 fully developed AAA titles that are some of the best Batman games and best superhero games we've ever gotten. Arkham Knight, and specifically with Arkham Knight, it introduces a much larger map, more enemies to face, improved graphics, and the ability to drive the Batmobile. These games are amazing and could easily keep you busy while you're waiting for Gotham Knights to release later this year in October. Hopefully this list will help you and you will find something on here affordable and cheap and worthy of you spending your time on. Almost all the games I mentioned today are on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. If you're looking to know more about PlayStation or want to see more videos about PlayStation content, check back here because I'm going to be talking about all things PlayStation here. We already have up on the channel all 44 games that I think you guys should be paying attention to for the rest of the year coming to PS4 or PlayStation 5. And I released recently a PlayStation 1 games worth playing today, and I have many more games and more videos to talk about when it comes to PlayStation. I hope you all are having a wonderful day, and I'm happy you guys checked out this video. Before I get out of here, hurry on over right now to the PlayStation Summer Sale and get you guys some games while they're cheap. And tell me in the comments below if you found any of my game recommendations helpful and if you guys decided to purchase them while they were cheap. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys next time, and I'm going to go see what I can get myself into today.